Hello there, I'm Nathalia Melo, your unfiltered fit BFF, mom of two turned CEO of a fitness empire. Someone who understands the struggles of trying to stay fit, sane, and sexy, all while juggling work, life, and motherhood. And this is the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast. Follow along wherever you're listening and join me weekly as I help busy working moms just like you simplify their fitness journey so they can lose weight, regain their confidence, and feel sexy AF. It's time to stop living in the what ifs and hiding from the cameras. It's time to regain control over your body, feel sexy naked, and wear a bikini confidently. People already see you as a super confident woman, but it's time for you to feel the same way too. Let's go. Hello there, fam. Welcome to another episode of the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast. I'm Nathalia Melo, your host. And today we have an incredible guest who is an equally incredible member of our PowerHouse Academy. And she is a powerhouse herself with an incredible story. She is a corporate attorney in Canada, very, very busy, living her best life now. But we need to hear from the person herself after a lot of, asking and begging. She is here with us. Welcome, Valerie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We were just talking before the podcast started that she is reluctantly excited to be here. She's like, I know that I should do it, but I'm not sure if I want to do it because I'm shy and I don't. And I'm like, we can do this.
I'm shy, but when I get going, I get going.
Which is very interesting for an attorney to be shy. I'm yet to meet an attorney who is shy.
I think maybe corporate attorneys, because we deal a lot with paperwork. We don't go to court or have to stand up in front of people a lot. So, we're a different breed, I guess.
Yeah, you're dealing with paper, not with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so Valerie, I love your story, especially because I remember our initial conversation and I could see like the skepticism on your face in neon lights, a bit like the neon light that I have here in my office. And it's been incredible to watch your journey. But before we talk a little bit about your journey, can you share with our listeners a bit more about yourself and where you are and anything that you think that would be relevant?
Sure. Glad to. So I'm Valerie. I'm 59. I live as you said, in Canada, in Toronto. I work as a corporate lawyer in house counsel, and I have been doing this for many years. But I was actually a mature student, so I went to law a little bit after a lot of people do. I went back to school as a mature student, so I started practicing in my mid-30s. That really doesn't affect a lot of things, but it's just always a little bit out of step with maybe my cohort, and just always feel a little bit like different, but maybe sometimes more mature. So.
Yeah.
But initially I grew up in France. I was born there and was raised in France. I came to Canada when I was 20. I loved it so much I decided to stay. So that's where I did my studies. And I returned to France a lot because I have family there.
We were living through your last French trip. Like we don't like, let's not talk. I love France. It's I don't think I've ever had a bad experience in France.
I'm glad to hear it. it. And right now I wish I was in Paris because it sounds like so exciting, even though initially I didn't want to be there during the Olympics, but
you're getting FOMO.
Yeah, a little bit when I see what's going on. Yeah, it's great.
I know.
Yeah, so I have a spouse. We've been together for 15 years or so, and I don't have children. Yeah, and like I said, we live in downtown Toronto, so we live in a condo.
That's awesome.
And, yeah.
So Valerie, now getting a little bit into the fitness part of things. It's fitness is not something that you're new to, right?
No.
You've been into fitness for many years. Is that fair to say?
That's correct. I mean, as a child, I was quite athletic, and family pushed us into sort of a lot of sports. I did a lot of different sports growing up. I competed in gymnastics, And also in my teens, I was a sprinter. I did the
Hmm.
100 meters. So very, very athletic. And then
Okay.
throughout my 20s, I got into aerobics and all kinds of
Yeah.
other stuff. I've done a bit of running. I've
Okay.
done a lot of things. Like you,
All
though,
right.
I'm not a big fan of running.
Yeah, if I joke, I say that if you see me running, is I'm running from something or is the zombie apocalypse. So you better get running too.
That's for sure.
So, Valerie, what made you reach out to me and talk about, you know, our team and myself potentially helping you? Why did you
Yeah,
reach out?
I was at a point in my life where I wasn't really happy. Like I sort of gone through periods where really focused on my nutrition and being active, but I hadn't been really active for a couple of years. And I did hear one of your seminars on Facebook and was very interested about what you had to say. A lot of it really made sense to me. It just
Hmm.
resonated. And at the
Hmm.
same time, I was going through like a phase where I wasn't happy to see myself in pictures. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. My clothes didn't fit. Every morning it was like a pile of clothes on the bed to try and find something that fit. So I was like, I got to do something. And
Hmm.
like I said, the words that you said really resonated, I guess, as something that that made sense to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, so and what exactly was it that you struggling with? And I love, before you answer this question, I love that you realized how it was impacting your life. Cause I think a lot of people don't realize the impact, like the time that it takes you to get ready in the morning, the not wanting to look at yourself in the mirror, and maybe they do realize, but there is so much stigma out there about, oh, just embrace, you're just so blessed, and all that like bullshit that I think that acknowledging that that's the thing, and acknowledging that, I mean, if you're happy living like that, cool, but if you're not, there is something that can be done. I think there is something to be said about that.
No, that's right. I think you realize you're not aligned with the way that you feel you should be, and there's a disconnect there. And you could do it. And when you hear, well, you could have a program that's like tailored to you, and that you're doing it's just you're doing things that make sense for your life. What you eat is tailored to what you like to eat. Your workouts are what you can do, not
Hmm.
some sort of crazy stuff that you'd never have time to do, because that's an
Yeah.
issue. Being a lawyer, like, time is a real
Of
issue.
essence. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so being able to like fit all this stuff in and make it work for me, I felt like that you know, I was confident that that could work.
Okay.
And
So,
just, yeah.
before we get to what you believe that could work, what exactly were struggling with? What was your
I,
biggest struggle whenever you first reached out?
yes, yes. I was really struggling with reconciling a lot of information. It's like paralysis by analysis or something like that, right? It's just like there's so much out there. There's so much on social media, and it's a lot of good information. It's a lot of good stuff. But it's like, how do I distill this into something that makes sense for me? I didn't know
Yeah.
how. Yeah.
Yeah. And you kind of like, obviously being a corporate attorney, you're not an idiot. Like, you're a smart person. And I think that's kind of where I think a lot of people get confused. It's like, oh, I'm smart. I should know how to figure that out. And I'm like, well, a fish is smart in the water, but if you put it to climb a tree, it's outside its wheelhouse.
Mhm. Right.
Um,
Exactly. That's
and
exactly right.
and there is a difference between knowing what to do and how to do it. And I think that's why you were touching there on the paralysis by analysis.
Exactly. Exactly.
Cool.
Like I said, it's just you want it. You're trying, and you're trying to put things together, but somehow that you don't have necessarily all the tools
Yeah,
to
something's
help you to
missing.
do that. Yes.
And let me ask you this: had you ever worked with a coach previously? Had you ever worked with anybody before?
No, I never worked with a coach before. No.
Had you ever like done any kind of program or anything like that?
I had done a program a couple years prior, and I was sort of it sort of worked temporarily, but I think part of the issue was that it was very very restrictive. It was kind of like nutrition was like keto or paleo based, and like as long as you stick with that, yeah, sure, it works. But then as soon as you start sort of dealing with real life, then it just kind of fell apart. And I did lose weight, and then I gained it back. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So with that being said, because here's the thing, everything works until it doesn't. And that's a big piece. I think that my messaging, if I'm doing it correctly, but, what do you think that made what we do now that you are inside the PowerHouse Academy? What have you noticed that was different from the way that we do things from what you have done in the past?
I think the tailoring to each person's, circumstance, and that includes everything, like your lifestyle. If you have kids, you don't have kids. If you have what your schedule is, if you can work out during the day, outside, all of this is like it's so tailored, and there's no judgment, and you feel like very sort of, yeah, okay, we'll work with what you have, and we'll deal with that, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the key to the success. The other
Mm-hmm.
part, I think, is like a big emphasis on your motivation and understanding the sort of psychological component of what makes you do what you do. And sort
Mm-hmm.
of like you just have these light bulb moments, for me anyway. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, very much so. Like, okay, it's not just about following something blindly, it's understanding why you're doing certain things and what motivates you to behave a certain way.
I absolutely adore that you mentioned this because correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever I was presenting the program for you and I talked a little bit about the mindset, you were like, yeah, that sounds good. But probably at first it didn't really hit how it was one of the most important things because nobody's really talking about it. Would that be fair?
It's totally fair. It's totally fair. I think maybe you undersold it.
Yeah.
Because really, it's to me, it's just one of the biggest, benefits of doing and being part of the Powerhouse Academy. I just the mind, and like all these. I have, it's almost like I have someone, whenever I'm making choices, helping me and guiding me. And I
Mm-hmm.
hear the voices, and I hear all the
Yeah.
things that the coaches, all the members, because it's important also to describe that people, everyone contributes to that, and
Yeah.
understanding why you're behaving a certain way, and
Yeah.
helping you with choices.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you talked about this because that's something that I say a lot in a lot of our presentations within the program. Is like, um, we're never going to tell you that you are allowed to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to give you the tools, the knowledge, and put you in the right mindset to make the decisions on your own that align with the goals that you have.
That's
And
it.
that is such a significant and powerful change that I feel like many people underestimate.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's with you, and it's something that you keep. It's not
Yeah,
like, you do a sort of a, like you have a program and you have tick boxes, and then you're done. No, no, no. This is like for the rest of your life, I
yeah,
feel.
yeah. No, 100%. Now let's talk about one thing that I know you had a lot of, which is skepticism. You had a lot of skepticism. And listen, being in the fitness space and, the amount of fuckery I have seen out there, and I have heard and I have being a victim of, I can understand the skepticism of most people. But what specifically for you made you skeptical or fearful about joining the program?
I think it's, I'm skeptical by nature, maybe. And
Yeah.
also, like until you see what you're going to be doing as part of the program, it's really hard to imagine, what it's like, and just understand the depth of, the help that you get. So I think it's mostly that. It's like, oh, is this really what I want to do? Is this,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know you. I just heard you
Yeah.
speak, and
Yeah.
it's a bit of a leap of faith, I think.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. And that's the thing. I think that even if we try to show what it is that we do, I don't think that it's possible for people to really understand until they're really doing it in the weeds
That's
with
right.
it.
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
So that's kind of like that catch 22. And I totally get it. I mean, I didn't know you fair. And yeah, no, that's cool you said that. So and did you have any kind of reservations about it? I mean, we know about the skepticism, but was there anything whenever I was talking that you're like, not sure?
I can't really point to anything specific. I mean, initially, when sort of you're presented with your personalized plan and everything, I'm like, can I do this? Like, is it gonna work? I mean, I've never worked out like, a few days a week.
Uh-huh.
And, can I do these exercises?
Mm-hmm.
Can I implement this? Can I be disciplined? So there's
Yeah.
those kinds of like maybe
Self-doubt.
just, yeah, a lot of that at the beginning. But you've got to just, just like, okay, just try it. Just dive right in, just do it and trust the process. And
What
you
made
can
you overcome
only,
that? What made you overcome that, like all those self-doubt? Because I think what you're describing are fair self-doubts. What
yeah,
what do you think within the program or how we put it together for you? What do you think that helped you overcome those doubts?
I feel that part of it is like, okay, you're going to do this, just do it. It's a
Yeah.
personality thing, I think. And also having, the chance to talk to the coaches, to you at first, and then our therapist and dietitian, like you realize this is really put together very well. And I was like, well, I just have to do it and see what happens. If it doesn't
Yeah.
work for me, it's,
Yeah.
but I felt like I had nothing to lose really.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I understand the skepticism for some people because it is a significant investment. I'm not out there saying, "Oh yeah, we're the cheap." I'm not trying to be the cheapest. But
Right.
if like if there's plenty of cheap out there and yet people are still struggling. So that was kind of the main goal, to do something that different that would bring value, but to bring value, there needs to be a value to it.
That's right. That's right. But I mean, how do you know until you really commit to
Yeah.
the effort, right? And the
Yeah.
consistency, and that these are words sort of that, we hear and we talk about the consistency of doing. It's not happening in a week, in a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
It's day in and day out for months on end. And,
Mm-hmm.
you see results before that, but that you just keep doing it. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I feel it's hard to fail.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think that what makes it hard to fail? And again, I don't want to put words into your mouth, is the constant customization that is possible. Like as your life changes, like if you have a trip, we can accommodate to that. If Do you think that that was something that helped you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I did have a trip a few months in, and I thought, oh well, it's going to be a free for all. It's going to be, that's it, out the window. I'm not going to be able to work out. I'm not going to be able to do anything and just eat, food that family prepares, and I can't, start measuring my foods and so on.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that was actually the best thing, is that it wasn't a free for all, because you're still mindful of like, okay, this, you just kind of, does this work for me? Does it align with what I want? But then within, a bit of freedom as well to just, I had croissant when I was there. Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed food. And then coming back, really shocked to see that not only did I not put on weight, but, after a week, I actually dropped. So that's really something that, like, when you say about, being convinced, that will convince you that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I love that you mentioned the part of the about trip, because that's something that we see, especially this time of the year. People are like, oh, but I have a vacation here. Oh, but I'm doing this, and that's another thing that I've been saying until my face turns blue, is you're likely not going to stop traveling. So
No,
if you don't learn how to navigate whenever you are traveling, how do you expect the results to be something that you can maintain in the long run?
absolutely. And, it's not just traveling. Is like in the summer, my lifestyle is we're more social. We're out more. We go to patios. We meet more friends. And we have more eating, barbecues, and things. And again, not a free for all. Like it's like, okay, this is not. I'm not punishing myself by every day of the week, being conscious of what I eat. So why am I going to just throw it out the window on the weekend? And I do enjoy it, and I have dessert and I have everything, but a glass of wine, whatever. But always conscious, okay, let's like be reasonable and think about your goals.
It's everything that you're saying. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so proud. I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud. Because it's incredible though, especially after you have been kind of almost like convincing yourself that a trip is a free for all, but then you come back and you have to catch back on. And but let me ask you this, Valerie, what made you decide to commit? What about what you heard? Because obviously you were not inside of the program, you couldn't really see. What made you decide to commit?
I think at some level it was a sort of a bit of like some trust that what you said resonated with me when we discussed this, and also what you had said in the seminar and so on. Just all of it's like it just feels like it's the right thing. It feels like it will work. It feels, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Was there, and this is going to be off the cuff because, and I like to ask this because I know, again, kind of like how we started the conversation, there is a lot of charlatans in the fitness industry. There just are, and
Yes.
I can understand your skepticism being an attorney. If somebody tells you something and then it's not that, you're almost like, how did I fall for that? So I'm such a smart person. So there is that layer of that as well. Was there anything, and listen, guys, I'm not going to edit this at all. So you can be honest, Valerie. Was there any disconnect between what I told you that it was going to be and what it was? Either good or bad.
No,
You can say the bad too.
I agree with what you said about, what is this going to be like, did I fall for something?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could see it in my eyes. Like I'm an open book.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be a good poker player.
Same. My eyebrows, even though they don't move a lot because of the Botox, they still kind of enough to.
Yeah. I mean, I think initially I thought the simplicity of it all kind of scared me. I was like, it's too simple. Is that really it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest sort of concern at the beginning. Is this it really? Oh my goodness.
Okay. And in the sense of concern, like in the sense of what I told you that it was going to be and what it was there any disconnect? Because, like people like to overpromise and they're going to do all the things and, they're going to come to your home and, give you a shower and fan you with, and feed you grapes. You know what I'm saying? And then whenever you take, like they take your money, you cannot find find them. Was there any disconnect between what you heard in the front before making the investment and then after being in the program?
If there was any disconnect, it was more that actually there was more there than I expected. Like initially I was taken aback by the simplicity of the program and the plan when you start doing it. But then the being able to engage with the coaches, I think that kind of surprised me. The level of one-on-one, I think. Really incredible, I thought, because like I said, I thought, okay, well now I'm in and forget about me.
Yeah, they're just gonna come around when it's time to charge me again.
That's right. Not at all.
And guys, this is like, just so you guys know, I didn't tell her I was going to ask this question. This is not a question that I ever ask. But I think that because of the level of skepticism that Valerie did have in the beginning, I mean, if she had said something negative, I was going to keep that too. Just FYI.
Right. And I'd be honest, like,
Yeah. No, I expect nothing less. So, and now let's talk about, you've been in the program for how long has it been?
It's about just over 6 months.
Okay. And what have been how has it impacted your life? What have been your biggest wins so far?
Oh my God. It's like, how much time do you have? First of all, like just, I don't know, you can put a price on, the way you feel when you get dressed in the morning. And it's not just about like losing weight is like feeling that, you're stronger, you feel more confident about your shape. And, you know, one big one is like going to a dinner or whatever, and not feeling guilty about eating stuff, and not feeling, first of all, not saying no to the dinner because you're like, oh my God, it's just gonna like basically derail everything. No.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times prior where I was, I thought, no, I don't really want to go because this just, no, it's just, I'm going to eat too much. And I know myself, I can't stop. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do this. I don't want to be social. So
Mm-hmm.
that's huge. Getting dressed, feeling happy about, wearing clothes again, and
Yeah.
the stuff that I could not wear. Like, it's a big deal in the morning. The
Yeah.
mindset that you have when you get ready for work for the day, it just puts you in a positive frame of mind. It's just like, I mean, there's no price
Yeah.
on that.
And are we going to talk about the bikini or no?
Oh, okay. We were talking about that. Yeah, we talked about it at our initial call, and I was
I
like,
know.
yeah, I think those days are over.
I think I might have the notes because it literally is, I think what you said, because you're like, oh, maybe, at my age, maybe that like the days are over about wearing a bikini and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
I believe
Valerie,
that. I believe that. And I believe that. And yeah, and then I just, the last few weekends I've been rocking a bikini and posting a picture for our friends to see. Yes.
yes, queen, in more tangible kind of like, not that it's not tangible, but like objective. You, how much have you lost so far?
Just, I think, over 20 pounds.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's in traveling to Paris.
Yes. Traveling
Traveling
to
to
Paris.
France. Then,
Busy summer, weekends, very social.
mhm.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh my
Yep,
God, this is so
all of
beautiful.
that.
And I have another question for you on that, kind of piggybacking on that, because you're 59 and a lot of and you look incredible for
Thank you.
59, and for any age for that matter. But I feel like that is a time where many women start to talk about, oh, I can get results because of my hormones and X, Y, and Z, and obviously the hormones do play a role. I'm not minimizing that. Um, how how was your mindset around hormonal changes and things like that before joining the program, and then seeing the results that you were able to get once you're in it?
I feel like, you buy into that, oh, it's menopause and that's it. You're going to have a belly, can't build muscle anymore, all this stuff. And it's like, first of all, each person's different. So I can only talk about what it's like for me. But, with the right plan and, the right mindset, so much is possible. Forget like 59, forget it.
Yeah.
I think even 65, 70 years old, I see people on social doing, being active and, lifting weights and things like that. And like 59 is young, actually, I think.
Mhm.
59
Oh,
is
I
not old.
agree. I agree. Like for the way, like the longevity that we have now.
Yeah.
But I love that you mentioned the narrative, that plays in your mind. It's like people just succumb to, oh, it's the age. I've had people that were like 28 years old telling me that it was their hormones. And I'm like, girl, stop it right
Yeah.
now. I
Yeah.
can't. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like you have to talk to a medical professional and so on, but like blaming it on your metabolism, all that stuff, like I don't know. I feel my metabolism is just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like yesterday I was sitting on the couch and I was like, hey, look at that, I have muscles in my legs. I can actually feel them. It's firm.
I love it. I love it.
What?
In from all the progress that you've made, because I was actually looking at the notes that I have from our initial call here, and I love them so much. It's so incredible to look back. And your goal was to lose between 20 and 25 pounds, and here we are.
Yes. Yeah, almost there actually.
Yeah, like 20 down, like literally just 5 to go. And I think that I pushed you for like that 25. You're like, well, I don't know if you can be 25. And I'm like, why not though? Like, let's shoot for the
I think
stars over here.
actually that's not true. You pushed me, you said, but why just limit yourself?
Yeah.
That's the way you did it. Why you limit yourself? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's just a number to start with and see what happens.
Yeah, it's very incredible. So, and obviously we have all the wins, like the number wins, and wearing a bathing suit and being able to enjoy. How, like, as far as like your life and the things that you're able to do and the relationships and even your career, how do you find that that has improved because of the changes that you are able to make physically? And not that if you look X, Y, and Z, you're better at your job. I think it's about how you feel, but how do you perceive the changes? What have
I,
those been?
yeah, I mean, I think if that aspect of your life is settled and nice and feels good, I think it impacts everything. It impacts your relationship, not only with your partner, with your friends, and at work, like feeling more confident, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
100%, like 100%. There's no question, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
listen, when you get up and like, that you just have that positive mindset and you can look at yourself and not feel like, oh God, I got to do better. Like you get beyond that and you move on with your day and feel that you can achieve more actually
Yeah.
in a lot
Yeah.
of respects, right? Because you've achieved this.
Do you remember what I call that from our initial call? I call it the
No.
BBV, the Babbage vibe.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, you have the Babbage vibe. I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Valerie, to wrap it up, what would be, and again, I'm gonna keep on honing in on this because I am acutely aware about, especially in the fitness space, it's kind of like the financial space, the make $1 million in 2 days kind of idea. It's very prevalent in the fitness industry as well. What would you tell someone who is kind of on the fence about reaching out to join the Powerhouse Academy, or they're kind of waiting for after the vacation, after X, Y, and Z? What would you tell that person?
I mean, waiting for what, right? I mean, now is the moment. Now is the time to do things. I think delaying things is only sort of pushing you further away from your goal.
Mhm.
And I think my sense is like just like being blown away by my mindset and how my mind has changed, and that to me is like that's the beauty of doing this. And I would say to anyone, like, it's just can't believe how much all of that changes when you're listening to the right message and the right people, and you're open to it. I think
Yeah.
that's what I'd say.
Agree. And I'm going to follow up on that. We cannot shy away from the investment. Again, I'm not one to be like, oh yeah, we're going to be the cheapest one. You can find fitness stuff for $15. I'm
Right.
not $15. So what would you say for someone who is skeptical about the investment? Because it is a significant investment.
Yeah, and I had to get over that myself as well. And there are certain things in life that really have no price, and your health and your well-being. I think I keep going back to that. It's like, okay, this is an investment in me and it's important. I could go
Yeah.
out and buy more clothes and more things, but channeling this into something that in the end will, like, yeah, improve my life. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, you've got to like
Yeah.
decide for yourself if
Yeah.
that's what's important to you.
Yeah. I love that you use the example of the clothes, because that's something I see a lot of people kind of like that quick hit of dopamine. I'm going to buy new clothes, bigger sizes, going to make me feel better for today. But then you're still living in a body that you're not happy with. So,
Exactly, exactly. It's like it's the starting point, right?
yeah.
Because you could probably wear a garbage bag if you feel happy. You would look good on you.
Yeah, no, facts, facts. Well, Valerie, thank you so much for your time. It really has been incredible to have you in our community. And I love that despite your busy schedule, you pop in our community, and which is, I think that is the funniest thing whenever I onboard somebody. They're like, I'm just busy. I don't care about community. And then I look there and then they're there and I'm like, oh, look at you hanging out here with us.
That's a fun part of being in this program is all the women, and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love having you. I know that I'm speaking for our whole team. It's so far it's been an absolute pleasure working with you, and that's why I wanted to bring you in here and share your story, because I know that it's going to resonate with a lot of our listeners. And if you can, speak to someone to take that step to change their lives, just like what I said in the live training, made you decide to change your life as well, then I think our job here is done. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week. But let me ask you, what was your aha moment in today's episode? I would love to know. You can leave me a comment or voice message at the link in the show description. You can also follow me on Instagram and let me know what topics you want to hear more about or who I should have on the show. As for today, this is it for today, guys. I'll see you back next week for another episode of the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast.